Hi everybody, Andrew Smith here from We Speak Business and welcome back to another video. This week I recently wrote a blog on 50 of the most important business English words that you need to know if you're learning business English or if you use English at work. And what I've done is I've taken 10 of those 50 words that I think are absolutely essential for you to know, and I'm going to explain these 10 words to you. So we have these 10 words on the board here, and you can see next to the words in blue, we have the type of word it is. So if it's an N, it's going to be a noun. If it's a V, it's going to be a verb. And we're going to start on the right-hand side of the board. And the first word we have is a shared workspace. Now this is a noun, and a shared workspace is an area or a community where people can come and do some work together. And they don't necessarily have to be on the same team or working for the same company, but a shared workspace is just basically an office or an area, usually indoors, where people can come and do some work. Now, the next word we have is a gig economy. A gig economy. And you might have heard this before because a lot of companies nowadays will actually use the gig economy. Companies like Uber, Uber Eats, Fiverr, Airbnb, etc. But a gig economy is when people who work for themselves will come and do short-term temporary work for the company or the business. So if, for example, you work for Deliveroo or Uber Eats, maybe you might do some deliveries and you might deliver food, and you have, an agreement with the company, but it's not always permanent, and it's not really seen as a steady job. Now the next word we have is freelance, and this is actually related to the word gig economy. A freelancer is a person who is self-employed and might do some contract work for a company or a client. And usually freelancers will work in or for the gig economy. So freelancers are people who are self-employed and they will do lots of different work for lots of different companies or clients. Now, the next word we have is consulting. This is a noun, and consulting is a person who gives practical professional advice on different topics or subjects to a company or a client. So sometimes you have this thing called financial consulting, where one person who is an expert at finances might give some financial advice and help to a company or an individual client. And we say this is consulting. The next word we have below is skill set, a very common word used by interviewers and a word that you will commonly find on job application pages and job adverts. But a skill set is basically a set of skills, and they can be grouped or categorized in different ways. So we might have a really good IT skill set, which means we're really good at many different things to do with computers. So a skill set is essentially a group of skills that are all related in some way or another. So those are our first 5 words: shared workspace, gig economy, freelance, consulting, and skill set. Now let's take a look at the next 5 words to the left. And the first one we have is a verb, and it is to go into administration. And this basically means the same as bankrupt. When a company goes into administration, it means the company has no more money left. It's bankrupt and it needs to close its doors for good. The next word we have is another noun, emerging markets. So an emerging market is a market or a country that has a lot of the same traits as a developed market or a developed country, but it's not quite on par yet. So an emerging market could be a country or a market that is starting to open its doors to the rest of the world, and it's starting to increase its GDP and make more money. And two really good examples of emerging markets are countries like India, Vietnam, and the Philippines. All three of these countries can be classed as emerging markets. Now, the next word we have is creditors, and this is a noun. And creditors are basically people or organizations that will lend you money. And usually this money is spent on business related activities or things, but creditors are usually people that will lend you money to spend on your business to grow your business. And we call these people creditors. And often in business, we have to pay back creditors, right? So we borrow money from creditors, but then we have to pay back the money to the creditors. And pay back is a phrasal verb. Now, the next verb we have is to go public. To go public. And when we say go public, we're talking about a company. Now, if you remember when Facebook first started, when it went public, what it meant was that it opened its doors on the stock exchange. You could buy stocks and shares for Facebook when Facebook went public. So when a company goes public, it means that individuals or everyday people can buy stocks and shares from that company, and it's currently on the stock exchange. And the final word, I know it's a little bit rubbed off, but the final word is another noun, and it is overheads. 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 And overheads is a noun, and an overhead is a reoccurring cost that a company has to pay frequently, usually every month or every quarter or every year. But examples of an overhead could be the rent, right, for the office building, or another overhead could be the staff salaries or the staff wages, right, because we have to pay every month these staff salaries. And every month or every year, we have to pay rent for the office building that we are using to run our business. And any of these costs that reoccur or happen again and again and again, we call these overheads. And a company can have many overheads, or it can just have a few overheads. So these are 10 words that I've included in our blog this week, 50 of the most important business English words. And of course, there are another 40 words that I would encourage you to go and read and learn. But these are 10 words that I think are really, really important for you to know if you're starting to learn business English or if you just want to improve your business vocabulary. And on that note, if you are somebody who wants to increase their business vocabulary, and if you feel that you don't have enough words to really express yourself clearly and accurately, then I would like to invite you to a free seminar that I host quite regularly. And the seminar is called How to Speak Better Business in Just 30 Days. And this is a 2-hour free seminar where I'm going to show you some of the most important, valuable tips that I have learned as a business English teacher over the years, and how you can start applying those tips straight away to improve your business English fluency. And in the seminar, I even give you a set proven system to learn, retain, and remember new business English vocabulary. And I also give you a system and a template that you can use to make it really organized and to make it really effective. So thank you very much for watching this video. Feel free to leave a comment and tell me about some of the problems you face at work when you're speaking or using English, and I will see you in the next video.